Yeah, it'll tell.
Okay, welcome one and all to In the Blue Corner on the Wednesday evening, the unofficial match committee featuring myself, Joe, all the way from Bangkok. And let me introduce Chris, the man with many nicknames, the librarian, Sam McClure, but we'll just call him Beachy. How are you tonight, Chris?
Good, thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure to join you again for another Wednesday evening.
Yes.
We're getting ready for all of it again.
Well, I thought we've got a special guest, the Gozman, so we're going to bring Goz in a minute, but just for the viewers who don't know much about us, Chris and I get together every Wednesday night. We talk about the potential ins and outs. We haven't got any right yet. Have you noticed, Chris? There's always been like someone who gets injured or gets pulled out. Like last week, Jack Silvani got pulled out, and we didn't know about Matt Kennedy. But this week, I think there's a couple that we definitely know about, like Pitnet or Pitane or whatever you want to call him, Mark Pitnet, out for 12 weeks. So that's a real blow for us, real blow, because he's been quite good. So look, let me bring in Goz. For those that have, g'day Goz, how are you?
Hey gents, how are you? Thanks, Joe, for that special guest comment from you. That was beautiful, mate. Almost broke me down in tears. That was really nice. Thank you.
Oh, well,
I never get that sort of accolade. I'll get called a lot of things, but not special guest. But anyway, I'll take that.
Well, guys, we aim to please on this show. You know, we just love everybody. We love it. We love every show. We love everybody except Jack Nunes.
Oh.
But anyway, no. Listen, what I'll do is I'll put us all in the frame like this. If not, guys, I know we have Steve Katib and Vince Lochisano on a Sunday night who do a great job for us when they talk about the game and stuff. I just want to hear from you guys. I'll go last. Chris, give us a bit of a synopsis of where you think the football club is to present and what you think the future holds for us. So I'll let you go first, Chris.
Thanks, Joe. I'm going to make this brief because we are...
You make it as brief as you want, mate.
Thank you. So basically, look, as we all know, we currently sit 4-2, which at the start of the season, I think most of us would have taken that, considering what kind of starts we've usually provided at the start of the season. Look, the loss of Pitnet or Pitne, however you want to say, is not going to help because when we've done well, it's usually been because of Mark Pitnet, and then he is well supported around his midfielders, and then our full forwards are the ones putting it on the park. They put it on the scoreboard for us on the park. Now, we've got North Melbourne this week, which we will touch on shortly.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, guys, they have a good record against us in recent times.
I know.
They've won the last four. They've won the last 4 out of the last 5 against us. One of which was a game in Tasmania, which I attended. So let's talk about that better. Anyway, look, it's clear that we will have to put in against the Kangas because if we don't and take them lightly, there is every chance that we are going to be putting the proverbial shit uphill if that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, I guess. Guys, I'll hand over to you, mate. Well, as our special guest commentator, you can be our boundary rider.
That's beautiful. Call me the substitute. I like the name substitute. Anyway, I'm, like I said to you, gents, before the show kicked off, I am nervous as absolute hell for Saturday night. We could get the win over the line, and that's fine. But how convincing will we be with a win? All the players that we have on board for Saturday night, whoever the selected players are, have to lift their game compared to last week. Okay. I'm really, really nervous. Look, I'm probably more nervous playing North Melbourne next Saturday night than I am playing a team on the likes of Melbourne or Geelong or somebody like that. We don't just need to win on the scoreboard or on the field. We need to win on our reputation as well, because I think after last Saturday and losing against Gold Coast and only getting 1 point win against Hawthorn after leading so much is really, really testing the patience and the thoughts of our supporters. And it could turn really, really, really ugly. One, if we do beat North Melbourne by a small margin on Saturday night, or if we lose against North Melbourne by a small margin, it could get very ugly very quickly. And I dread to think what would happen.
Yeah, I was saying to you guys before the show started, we could easily have been 2-4 rather than 4-2. I know we're not, but I just think that the difference between our best and our worst is just too great. Now, I'm sure Michael Voss, Aaron Hamill, Ashley Hansen, Luke Power know. But I'm just going to put this quote up from Brandon Bevilacqua, because this was just something I was going to mention. And Brandon, you've hit it on the head. I think our depth is being tested now. You know, like we've got Pitane out, and I read on a lot of social media sites, everyone saying bring Markov or whatever his name is. He's played 10 games. The poor guy, I know what's going to happen. They'll bring him in. He'll get worked over by I think Goldstein and Christian Zeri are the two ruckmen at North. Yeah. Who are quite experienced. Yeah, who are quite experienced. And, I mean, let's face it, TDK is obviously going to be in the ruck. This is really going to test TDK. I think he'll be a good player, TDK, but not yet. I think he's a few years away. You know, it takes a while. But our bottom six, I mean, I don't like naming players, right? But I was telling you guys before, my big disappointment with the team this year is that we go to the well where we've been before and play the same players, and we didn't make the 8. We found out a couple of years ago that these guys were not the right people to take it. I don't know why people think, new coach, they'll be a different prospect, right? Yeah, they might be a different prospect for a game or two. But, you know, as Brandon says, our depth, you know, as I said to you guys before, in one draft, we had we had Paddy Dow taken at 3. Then, what's his name? Adam Serra was taken at 5. And Lockie O'Brien was taken at 10. Now, have a look at how Serra's developed. And he's played at Fremantle, of all places, who are not really known for developing forwards or mids. And we've had, you know, Paddy Dow, who struggles to get a game. I don't see the reserves, and I don't know whether he's got something on the coaching staff that don't play him. Lockie O'Brien seems to be in and out. Brad, I agree. I don't know whether we've played our best 22, only because I don't think our best 22 have been fit. But the question I would like to ask Brad is, what is our best 22? I'm certain our best 22 does not contain people like Parks, Nunes, Cottrell, who are all, don't get me wrong, they are triers, right? Everyone that pulls on an AFL jumper is a trier, right? That people don't go out there to lose, or, you know, this is their livelihood. So they don't go out there not to try. But I just don't see any sense of urgency with the O'Briens and the Dows. I mean, Kemp and Stocker, they've probably been in and out because they're injured. But let's put them in. I mean, I don't know, Beachy. You might see more of the reserves or think. What do you think?
Well, you're right. I do keep my eye on the reserves, and they got over the line after coming from behind over Werribee this past week, out at Werribee.
Mm.
It seems to be the usual suspects there. Stock is doing well. O'Brien is actually surprisingly O'Brien's one of those leaders up in the twos. But then again, when he comes to the AFL, you just don't know what he's going to do. Then again, you look at some of the VFL listed players because that's their game for the week. And this is the likes of Hayes, Tony Cripps' brother Josh, all of them. This is it's hard to decipher because you just don't know what you're going to get week to week. Now I will be hopefully going to the Carlton v North Melbourne game in the reserves before the main game on Saturday, so I'll probably have a little bit more of an idea then when I go.
Yeah, I agree with Brendan here. We need a bit of a freshen up, but this is what I was saying, Brendan, is that we keep going to the well and we keep playing. Look, Jack Nunes has played nearly 200 games, right? He's played 170 odd games at two clubs, right? And I remember when he came to Carlton, a few of my St Kilda friends laughed and said, "Oh, thank God we got rid of him." And I always said, "Oh, I don't know why. I thought he was a good footballer." And they said, "Oh no, you'll see. He'll turn it up." To be honest, he's done one thing at our club, kicked that goal from the boundary line, and it wasn't even his kick. It was bloody Michael Gibbons' kick. So he stole the limelight, but I'm glad he did. But, I just think we've invested in this draft. And I mean, same with Martin and Williams. If they're not going to put in, well, don't play them. They get paid the $900,000, but they must think this football's easy. They just run around, make mistakes, and get paid. I mean, to be honest, I actually like Fisher. I think he's got pace. He's got some dash. He's too inconsistent. He's in and out of the game. He's just not consistent. So maybe we just, I don't know, we just say to him, look, go to the reserves and get a bit of confidence. One thing that shocks me, and I read this today, I actually think that Ed Curno's time at the club may have come to an end. I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Well, he's re-injured himself, Goz, and he's out indefinitely.
Yeah, I know. I think I read the same article, and it didn't anger me. It saddened me because
that's what I mean. He's been very reliable.
11 years, and correct me if I'm wrong, 11 years at the club. I read that article and I thought two ways. I thought, is it fact or is it just the media having a field day with us? I think personally, and only he knows more than any of us, I think he will have one more decent hard crack for a full season next year. And I hope the club has it in their heart to give him that respect and that heart to be able to do that. I get what you're saying, Joe. And I've got to say, I never really agree with anybody these days because I have a lot to say even against the Tide. But going to the well comment, I truly believe you're spot on with that. We have players like Parks and Newman and Nunes, etc., who haven't, after all this time, brought much stability and brought much gold to the club. Adam Chera, for crying out loud, had 32 disposals last week against his old club. Yeah. And that wasn't over time. That wasn't over a couple of seasons or a few seasons. That was immediate impact. They're the sort of players that we need that can bring an immediate impact, whether it be disposals or goals or whatever the case, doesn't matter. Bring something there. But then when I look at the players like Cottrell, who had 14 disposals last week, and Williams at 17 disposals with, it upsets me to know that we're still throwing money around. And I'm not, I know, Joe, you don't like naming players, but I'm going to name them. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I think Williams, he really worries me anytime he goes near the ball. Jack Martin, and I'm going to be, maybe I'm wrong, probably wrong here, but last week when I watched the game against Freo on TV, Jack Martin was all over the screen every few minutes. And I thought, oh, he's having a go. He's having a crack. This is good. This is what I want to see. And I tell my kids from school to life in general, etc., I always tell them, put the effort in and worry about the results later. And I think that's what, and maybe, like, again, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what Jack Martin did last weekend. He put the effort in. He'll never be a Patrick Cripps. He'll never be a Sam Walsh or a Chris Judd or a Lance Franklin. But at day's end, if you put the effort in, that's all I ask. Not from Jack Martin, but I ask that from every other person in the team. Now, don't even start me on Will Setterfield. God bless him for getting to, 50th game or coming up or whatever?
He had 50 games last week.
Last week, sorry.
Yeah.
God bless him for that. Kudos to him. But I'm not interested, and I'm sure none of us are interested in milestones, etc. We want to see results. And he is, honest to God, one of the most, in my opinion, even before Nunes, Joe, one of the most frustrating players in our club at the moment. It really does my head in. Then you look at Doherty, who had 32 disposals. With everything that he's gone through, he still has that impact on the field. It's astounding. Yeah. But sorry, gents, I'm babbling on.
No,
Your call.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, do you know, like when we got Will Setterfield, I was quite happy because I thought, gee, you know, he looks like Cuda, to be honest. Like he's pretty solid. He's got that David Reece-Jones about him that he looks lackadaisical. You know what I mean? Except Reece could back it up. Look, people get me wrong. The players go out there that they try. It's not like they don't try, right? And, you know, people say to me, oh, what do you want? You can't win every game. I don't want us to win every game. But if we don't win, I want us to at least go down fighting and saying, you know what, when you come off that ground, you've got to have said to us, you've got to look at your teammate and said, mate, I gave 100%. I busted my gut. And I don't think half of them look like they don't even break a sweat. Now,
but are you basing it, Joe, are you basing it on last week's game, or are you basing it on 6 rounds in?
I'm basing it on 6 rounds in. I don't look at one game, right? Because everyone can have a bad game, right? Like I think Weeders this year, he looks a shadow of himself, and I don't know if that's confidence. I don't know if that's because Liam Jones helped him out. I don't know if he's got issues at home, but we all have bad days at work. We can't all be 100%. But, I look at some of them and I just think, mate, you just don't look like you've put in. And I'm sure they have. I mean, I think you hear this a lot. You're only as good as your bottom 6 players, right? And our bottom 6 are not good. They're not good. Okay. And Brandon may be right. I think Wiedering is being burdened and having too much responsibility on him, and it's affecting his game.
We'll call
I
Brandon.
know people don't like Plowman, right? But I think I think his problem is that he is a victim of our poor defensive structures. Yeah, he's not an A grade. He's probably not even B, right? But I know he puts in. But yeah, Dean, you're probably right. You're only as good as your last game. I suppose that's what gives selection. But I mean,
hey Joe.
Yeah.
Hey Joe. Sorry to cut in. I want to hear what Beachy has to say because I caught him yawning just then. I saw that, Beachy. He was yawning.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
that. Don't worry about Beachy. Don't worry about Sam Edmund there. Come on, Sam. Give us some thoughts.
It's McClure. Sam McClure.
Well,
Edmund.
Anyway,
Edmund, my apologies.
That's fine, guys. That's fine, guys. Anyway, look, take this with a grain of salt because I'm just looking at social media while we're having this discussion. And Sports Day Radio, which I believe is 3AW from memory.
Yes. Yeah.
Sam is saying, I think Jack Carroll and Stocker are playing this week. Sam is hearing Carroll will make his debut against North Melbourne on Saturday night. Now, we'll need to find out tomorrow night for confirmation on that. But that's what Sports Day Radio was saying.
You're not happy about that, guys?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm very happy about it. I'm very excited to see Carroll and Stocker out on the field together. Like, gives him goosebumps. I just hope it follows through. That's all.
Well, we'll go through with some of our selections. So we all know Pittonet or Pittonet, whatever you want to call him, is out, right? He's out for 12 weeks. They're saying Harry Mackay's a test, but I don't know. If his brother's playing, he'll be out. If his brother's not playing, he'll probably play. Someone said they're the same person.
Well, they're not. And as
I know.
I think Beachy started that rumour. It was Beachy.
No. As far as I'm all,
Beachy doesn't start rumours, guys. Beachy hoses them out. Beachy's a man. He works for the legal fraternity. Beachy deals in facts. Don't you, Beachy?
And Brad Tanner just said what I was going to say. His brother is out because he's out through suspension for a week due to a rough conduct charge against Geelong.
Oh, well, so then that means Harry will probably play. but do we agree? Okay, let's just go with the definite out, Pittonet, right? Are we of the opinion that we need to bring, is it Markov or whatever his name was, the Merkin? Merkov. Do we agree?
I think Markov, unless there's something I'm missing in the VFL, I don't have the insight, but for crying out loud, he had 46 hitouts last week and 20 advantage last week in the VFL game. And I'm only basing it on last week's game. I don't know the stats for the previous. I mean, surely, and they've extended his contract for another couple of years. Surely that should push for a call up to the seniors. And no disrespect to North Melbourne, but surely against a team that's languishing on the bottom of the ladder. I mean, really, wouldn't you want to debut someone like that with those stats against a team that's struggling rather than a Melbourne or a Geelong?
But remember,
that's just my take.
The guy's only played like a handful of games. It's not like he's...
I understand.
He grew up. So Brad Turner says he's a 7-foot beanpole. Maybe they've extended him because they think he might be the next Harry Madden and needs to fill out a bit.
Oh, big shoes to fill there.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know if they'll play him. I think that, me personally, I think they're going to go with TDK and Jack Silvani as the pinch hitter.
Can I ask, and I haven't delved into this too much, maybe Beachy can provide a bit of an update. JSOS, what's the go there? Obviously, he didn't play last week, but what's the go moving forward? What's happening with him at the moment?
So, look, as far as I'm aware, guys, he was only missing the last week because of an ankle sprain. He was originally picked to play and be on the plane to Perth. However, in its last training session before they were due to go on the plane, he sprained his ankle and they didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, what do we think? Will Matt Kennedy come back if he's fit?
Yeah.
I think it's due. I think Matt Kennedy is due to how can I say it? I think Matt Kennedy is due to kickstart his 2022 season. I don't think he's really kickstarted as yet compared to last year.
But his first 3 games were good, and then he went off the boil a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at this. So the outs definitely is Pittonet, right? And they'll probably bring JSOS in. Beachy seems to think that Matt Kennedy will play. As for anyone else, what are we thinking? Are we thinking? I'm thinking that they'll either bring in Kemp or Stocker, right, for Nunes.
I would like to see Kemp and Stocker both brought in.
Yeah,
I think it's time to push these
too.
kids through the ranks.
Nunes, but is Kemp the same size as? Is he a key defender? I mean, Parks has been playing as a key defender, hasn't he?
I believe he's dabbed into that role, but I'm not sure if he's he's dabbed into it. I know he has, but I'm not sure if that's his number one position.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find out like some stats about him. Well, Mitch McGovern is definitely not in, so that won't be it. What number is Stocker? Is Kemp 17, isn't he? 17. Brody Kemp. He's a big boy. He's 193 centimetres. Key defender, according to the AFL. Brody Kemp.
Wow.
He's 193 centimetres, 188 kgs, and Parks is 192 centimetres and 86 kgs. So they're basically...
Look, I'm going to say this. Compared to the way Parks has played, and maybe I'm alone on this, but the way Parks has played, I would put Kemp in and give him a shot, because Parks has really annoyed me to the fact that he only had 9 disposals last week, and Brody Kemp is probably just pumped to to take a shot to show what he's about. You know what I mean?
Peter's sent in this. He thinks is JSOS, Kennedy, Motlop, Lockie O'Brien, Carroll, Stocker, and Kemp. No Dow, okay. If Harry's out. And out is Pitto, which we all know. Setterfield, Durden, Cottrell, Nunes, and Parks. Okay.
Peter Vlahos, I'm buying you a beer if I ever see you at a footy game, because you have nailed it on the head. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
No, that's all right. Brad Turner's got Motlop in for Owies. And Brad has also said that Durden stays in on the quick deck. I'm tending to agree more with Peter. I'm thinking JSOS, Kennedy, yes. I reckon they may not play Motlop because he didn't play any football last week. Lockie O'Brien, yeah. Carroll, I don't know enough about. I'm going to put my hand up there. I don't really know enough about Carroll. I like Stocker and I like Kemp. Durden probably, yeah. Durden, Cottrell, Nunes are out for me. Setterfield, if you read articles, Michael Voss is very happy with Setterfield and what he's been doing. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. But I read an article the other day that he says he's been doing the job that we ask of him. So I don't know what if
really?
That job is, if that job is to be a shit footballer, then he's doing it perfectly.
I'm sorry, but he must be watching a different game, because Setterfield makes me very, very nervous. I've got to say the likes of, and I'm sorry to flip the coin over here, but I have to make special mention to the likes of George Hewitt, I think, and Pittonet, despite his injury. I think Sydney are bleeding that they let Hewitt go so easily. And Hawthorn with Pittonet. George Hewitt is fast becoming, 30 goddamn disposals last week. And again, what I mentioned about, I can't remember who it was, Chera, that Hewitt had an immediate impact in his first season in the team. That's what we need. We need players that can make, and maybe I'm pushing the boundaries a bit, so be it, but we need players that are ready to make an immediate impact. Given the opportunity, they get in there, they do hard. You got the likes of Cottrell and, who was the other one? Setterfield and Parks, who have been there for a while and are still trying to find their feet on the ground. Whereas you have the likes of Chera and Hewitt who come in and it's like bang, making a justification for the salaries they're on, which are not that huge. I know Chera is, but I know that Hewitt's not on a massive salary. But he's, we need to have people playing for the love of the Guernsey. We need to have the impact that they're about to make for the club, as opposed to just. It annoys me. It frustrates me. The selection every week, and I know come Thursday or Friday, when I find out what the selection is, or a Saturday morning change or whatever, is going to really annoy me. That's what really annoys me, honest to God. That's my vent over tense.
Yeah, I don't know about the jury's out. For me, the jury's out for Cottrell. I don't know how he gets a game. He reminds me of Mitch Robinson, but an uncoordinated Mitch Robinson. He is hard at the ball, but anyway. So, look, we've been going about half an hour. That's all we really like the show to go. Beachy, well, give me some final thoughts about team selection and what you think will happen Saturday night.
Okay. Well, I've just been looking at the VFL games last couple of weeks. Murkov was coming in off a 40-plus hit-out game against Werribee. You'd probably think he's going to be making a case, but whether we do or not go with him, I have absolutely no idea. Now that we're hearing Carroll and Stocker are a possible chance, they both made 27 disposals each when they played against Werribee. Carroll kicked 2, Stocker didn't get any goals, but anyway, I digress there. As for who I think may come out, look, honestly, I've got absolutely no idea, because Parks, you guys both make good cases. The thing is that Parks, the coaches could be saying, right, well, we need to give guys a go, and they may say to Parks, right, you've got another shot at it, but we need you to do this, and this for us, and then we can see what we can do with you.
Yeah.
So, let's bring on Thursday night and see what selections that officially come in.
And what do you think the result will be, Chris?
Well, I think we will win. I think it's going to be a 25-point win. I don't see it being a complete 10-goal smashing or whatever, because North Melbourne, as we all know, have had the wood on us in recent years. And I want to remind people that they've won the last 4 out of 5 against us. So we need to be really careful with North Melbourne.
Goz, final words?
I think Beachy nailed it. We need to be careful of North Melbourne. They could embarrass and humiliate the crap out of us. I agree with him wholeheartedly that it's not going to be a blowout. I wish it was. I wish it was a 100-point deficit. Oh, that would be great. But we can't rely on playing these mediocre teams, these bottom-place teams, to get that percentage booster, because our percentage at the moment, let's be real, boys, we're in the 8. Our percentage is not very good. There's another, I think, 3 or 4 teams behind us out of the 8 that have better percentage.
Yeah.
Personally, I would be very, very disappointed. Very disappointed if Setterfield, Cottrell, and Parks played on Saturday night. However, if they're in, they're in. There's nothing I can do. I would, honest to God, like a comfortable, not a comfortable win, but a comfortable display of consistency across the board. I would like Charlie. I would like, I'm not going to say Cripps because that's stupid if I say that. I would like Charlie. I would like Jack Martin and Zach Williams, etc., to elevate themselves and to show some sort of leadership. Like you said, Joe, earlier on, the amount of money that Zach Williams and Jack Martin are on, I'd like to see them display some sort of bloody leadership on the field. Enough's enough,
Exactly.
seriously.
Yeah.
So I'd say Carlton I'm going to go with Beachy on this. I'm going to say 25 points. It won't be a smashing, but enough.
So I'm just going to put this up. I hope this would happen, Peter, but I don't think it's going to happen, right? I don't think they're going to wield the axe. I think you'll probably Setterfield will not get dropped. I'll guarantee you, right? Beachy's gone.
No, I'm here. Scott's gone.
Sorry, Goz. I'm telling you now, Setterfield won't get dropped. Durden probably. Pido definitely is out. Durden, May, Cottrell, Nunes, Parks. Yeah, I can't see it happening, Peter. I really don't. But I'm going to go for. I think our team is going to win by about 40 points. I think they're going to get the rocket put up them, and I think a few of them.
Love that.
I think a few of them are going to be out there to try and show the coach that hey, we're not. The good thing is it's at Marvel indoors.
Yes.
If it was at the G, I would say it'd be a lot closer. But I think this is the game that we have to show that we've really improved. And if anything under a 6-goal win would say to me that we've not improved. So, hang on, Vince has come out. Hello, Vince. Hi, guys. Enjoying the shows. Silvani, Dow, O'Brien, Kennedy, Stocker, Carroll, Kemp, out Cottrell, Setterfield, Boyd, Nunes, Parks, and Pitnet. Yeah, that's probably right, Vince. But I really don't. I can't see Setterfield getting dropped after what Michael Voss has come out in the paper and said. We didn't really mention Boyd. I don't know. I think they're all young. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, Vince. I'll bring Goz back in just so that he can say goodbye. So last words. I don't know if you heard that, Goz. I said because it's at Marvel, be indoors, Brad. I think they'll have the roof closed. If there's going to be
I did hear that. Yeah, my apologies, guys. I had a bit of a tech issue then.
Okay.
I think Vince only commented because he heard I was making a special appearance. But anyway, I think it's a big test for us. I know it sounds ridiculous to some people's ears, but we're playing North Melbourne, who obviously are struggling. Vince has tipped Carlton by 48 points. Vince, I will continue on the beers that you're on, and I would gladly say that I wish it was 48 points, but honest to God, I think it'll be 25. But I just, at the end of the day, despite the score and the win, I just don't want to go. I just don't want us to cop any more injuries. That's the most important thing.
Well, given North Melbourne, where they're at, and where we're at, anything under 40 points to me is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Fair call.
I mean, we've got to have shown that we've improved, right? And this is going to be the game. And, like last year, we lost to these guys. And,
I know.
Yeah. Well, hang on.
And they were in the same position last year.
Brad's made a good point. This is probably more true. We'll be leading by 60 points and win by 5.
Oh, Brad. Brad.
If that happens, Brad Goz will personally come around and kill you. But look, on that note, let's just.
We don't condone violence. We don't condone violence.
I will only come over and do that, Joe, to Brad if Beachy provides his private jet to get me over there. Okay.
Not happening there. The private jet is off limits. Anyway, listen, Goz, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, boys. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
Beachy, always a pleasure.
Likewise,
so, let's hope that we're here next Wednesday evening. Who do we play next week?
Adelaide. And
Adelaide?
it's Docklands again.
Oh, well, that's it. When's
Where are we playing? Sorry, where are we playing then?
Adelaide
Docklands again.
Docklands, okay.
Regardless, Adelaide are very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, well, at least we're playing them here. But let's hope that we're celebrating a big win and percentage booster. Just in finishing up, don't forget, tune in to Steve and Vince on a Sunday night. Always promote the guys at the Jumper Punch. Watched it last night. It was fantastic. Going to watch tonight. They've got an interview with an old friend of mine, David Glascott. Knew him when he was growing up. We never knew. We always didn't. He always told us that he'd play for Carlton, and we always joked around with him. And then he ended up playing in 3 premierships. So he's the one that's like, yeah, nice guy. Really, he's a really nice guy, and he was a great kid. So I was really pleased for him. But on that note, good night from In the Blue Corner. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, fellas.
And we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
All good. Cheers.
Yeah.